Welcome back to the channel. I've had a couple of weeks off on holidays. I hope you've all had a great Christmas and New Year's break. But we're back into it now and ready and raring to go for the new year, 2022. The first thing that I'd love to chat about today is our putting stroke. And I get asked regularly, if not daily, about whether I should or whether the customer should have a straight back and through stroke or a small arc or a large arc in their stroke. And it's a really interesting question because we're fed a lot of information about putting, obviously, and we're fed a lot of information about, putter types and neck types and what does that suit, and does it suit, a straight back and through or a slight arc, or, I have people ring me and say, oh, I'm a large arc putter, what have you got? So I'm going to try and explain what you should do or what is best practice. So basically a putting stroke is a straight line. And I'm going to explain it's a straight line and a curve. And I think the best way to describe it, or the best way to outline it, is to think of a hula hoop. Now this hula hoop should be much bigger. Okay, and I'm going to go through a few little things to explain to you as to, why this is how a putting stroke should be. So a hula hoop can be a circle, can be a curve, looking at it this way, or it can be a straight line. And that's basically how our putting stroke is, how our chipping stroke, how our golf swing is. It's circular, but depending on the angle that you look at it, it can also be a straight line. Okay? And so if we were to putt with our putter at 90 degrees here, the putting stroke would be a straight line. Okay? And I'm going to move over onto the onto my little putting rail here, just to further explain it. Okay, so the putting stroke, the amount of curvature or the amount of arc in the putting stroke is actually determined by the lie angle. And this is what we call the lie angle here. This would be very upright and this would be very flat. Now, if you have a look, if I had a very flat lie angle here, if you have a look at what my putter head does, and I might get a little reference point. I get a reference point out here. Hopefully they're roughly parallel. Okay, so if I go really flat here, as I swing back, you'll see that my putter comes quite a fair way inside that yellow line. And then as I go back down into the ball, it goes back out to the yellow line. And then as I come through, it comes back inside. Now, the more angle I create here, the more of this arc that I get, okay? If I then bring my putter up really tall here, really tall, and I bring this in here, you'll see as I swing back and through, there's hardly any, there's a tiny bit of arc, you see? There's just a tiny little bit of in and a tiny bit of in at the end. I go back out here and we get a massive amount of in and out and in. So this hula hoop is representative here. Okay, so if I've got this hula hoop set out there flat like we did, it looks like a big circle there. It looks like a big arc. And as I bring that hula hoop up and up and up and up and up and up and up, the arc is getting smaller and up and up and up and up and up, and the arc is getting smaller. So you can see that the amount you should arc actually is dependent on how you hold your putter. Okay, and the more that we are flatter, the more that the putter will naturally arc. So with Captor, I've turned it on, we're going to use it in a second. We're going to have a look at two factors. There is, number one is the lie angle at which the putter starts, and then whether or not the head here moves in the same direction. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you a couple of examples. If I were to, I'll just have a free putt without the rail. And this will beep at us when it's ready. There we go, it's ready to go. And I'm just going to hit a putt as normally as I can. Very pro. And we're going to come and have a look and see what that says. So when we look at the data here, the yellow line is the angle of the putter shaft, which says it's at 70 degrees. And the green line is the angle at which my putter head moved. And those two don't really match up. And that's a problem. So I'll explain to you what's happened there. So basically what happened with that putt is I have this angle here, and instead of my putter head staying on that angle here, like it would do here, my putter head actually arced too much in and too much in. And although I hit a nice putt and I made the putt, it's not going to be consistent if the direction my putter head doesn't match the angle of the shaft. So if I was to put the ball on this rail, get it matched up as good as I could, for example, and hit the putt, and then if we came over here and we had a look at those, and you can see that almost perfectly the yellow line, which is the shaft line, and the green line, which is the head line, they now match up. And that's how we should putt. So I've simulated it on the rail. Now if I went back to the last one, for example, you can see how much flatter the head is moving. So I'm actually arcing my putter head too much in that putting stroke. And these are the sort of things that we look at. You see that one there's a huge mess. Now I'm going to make a huge mess. I'll show you how I can make a huge mess. So if we come back over here again, get another ball, I've got one in my pocket. And I'll show you, my first putt probably looked okay, but if you watch me putt this one, I'm going to keep, here's my shaft plane, which is the same, it's basically the line I start at. And now this time, I'm really going to arc my putter in and around and in. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to do a big arc on this one. I probably need to give myself a little bit more space. Okay, wait for it to be ready again. Okay, I'm going to go big arc in and big arc around. So that's a really big arcing putter. And again, we'll come and have a look at the mess I've created here, whereby, again, the shaft plane is fairly upright, but the putter head has moved in a huge arc, which represents a very, very low plane there. That's what we call, our putt plane. So you can see on the Capto technology, we have a lie angle, and that lie angle will be determined by a number of things. It'll be determined by your stance, by your eye line, depending on your right eye, your left eye dominance, all these things we check. But basically we have a starting lie angle. And we want your putter to match, the putter head to match that lie angle. So you can see there where I hit, you know, the last putt was extreme arc, and it just doesn't match what the lie angle's doing. And when I put the putter on the rail, the head and the shaft match up beautifully. So I hope I've explained that. And like I say, when you think about your hula hoop, it depends on how you're looking at it, will be depending on how much arc we should have. Now, I'll be the first to admit that sometimes the hosel type can help you match the shaft angle and the way that the head moves. No doubt about it, they can help. Okay, I'm not saying that it can't, but what I'm saying is don't pigeonhole yourself as a big arc or a small arc or a straight line putter. They're not really correct terms. We want the arc to match the lie angle. So upright lie angle, not much arc. Flat lie angle, big arc. And that's what should determine it, not the way that we think we putt or the way that the manufacturer will say this is designed for a big arc or a small arc. Now I hope that makes sense. There's a little bit to it. The Capto really helps in determining, you know, how we can sort of try and fix these things. Typically, for me, for example, my arc is too flat compared to my lie angle, and that's why I'm changing, well, I've changed to arm lock to try and match those things up a little bit better, to get a little bit more upright, to have my putter moving back straighter. I mean, that's how we get the putter moving straighter, is we increase the lie angle. And if we can get a nice upright lie angle and a putter moving straight back and through, there's a much, much greater chance of hitting straighter putts. When a putter moves massively around a circle here, it's harder, much harder to time when it hits the ball and hit the ball straight. Okay? So while face is king with putting, the stroke certainly has an effect on how the ball comes off, how much side spin it imparts and whatnot. So I hope I've explained that as best as I can. If you'd like, you know, some assistance with your putting, please get in contact. But also, if you've got any questions about it, go ahead, shoot them. I'll do my best to answer them, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching today's video. Make sure you click on like and subscribe. Let us know if there's anything else you'd like to see, and we'll see you in the next video.